This call is being recorded.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending today's Anvil Media Lunch and Learn webinar series on omnichannel marketing. Today, we're going to talk about building a winning omnichannel attribution program through best practices, tips, and tricks from yours truly. My name is Kent Lewis. I'm president and founder of Anvil Media. We're a measurable marketing agency based in Portland, Oregon, but you probably already know that if you found this deck. And you can follow me on the Twitter at Kent J. Lewis and our agency at Anvil Media across a variety of social platforms. So today we're going to talk about just to provide a background on omnichannel marketing. What is it? What does it mean? Many of us might have heard the term. The goal today is to make sure you're intimately familiar with the term. We're going to define it. We're going to add a couple key components that you need to consider when building out an omnichannel program. Include a few best practices. If we have time, we'll do a little bit of Q&A. And then we will also, I'll provide a few resources in our appendix, which will be available soon after this presentation is live. Within a week or so, there'll be a slide share version, and this recording will be up on YouTube. So let's get started. So a little background on omnichannel. There's another term that's interchangeable, if not incorrectly utilized, multi-channel marketing versus omnichannel. So from the Latin standpoint, one is all versus many. Omnichannel is all, multi-channel is many. Multi-channel is same channel, same message across multiple channels. So store, web, mobile, social, phone. And that's kind of the what. The how is more an omnichannel. So looking at all those different channels and hitting the consumer end user with the right message relevant contextually to that platform and to their intent on that platform. That, in a nutshell, is omnichannel. Very, very easy to say, very hard to discern the difference in execution between multi-channel and omnichannel marketing. So let's take a look at some quotes to frame up the concept of omnichannel marketing. Simply put, omnichannel is the multi-channel done right. So that's John Bowden, Senior VP of Customer Care at Time Warner Cable. But let's take a look at what I think is a much larger quote in terms of numbers of words. So according to Julie Bernard, Chief Marketing Officer at Macy's, the Macy's that's closing in our own town as we speak, we have enough data at the customer level to see how she or he interacts both online and in the store. So we can tailor messaging and offers to her appropriately by channel. We strive to balance the use of customer data to inform content relevancy with the use of consumer insights to ensure that the relevancy is coupled with a sense of discovery and inspiration. So that sense of accomplishment, of meaning. So that's a fancy way of saying hit them at the right place with the right message. And so the most common channels that are utilized for omnichannel include website, email, social media, direct response, various properties that you own, retail or digital, advertising, public relations, and events. All of these come together where your audience is going through these different channels to get to your brand or your product, and you want to provide a meaningful message for each of those channels that resonates in a very relevant way. So omnichannel versus single channel, there's some stats for you here. We all know a single channel is a website, a Google ad, a print magazine ad, but engagement rates that are almost 19% on omnichannel versus only 5% on a single channel. So engagement rates are nearly four times as high. And the purchase frequency, 250% higher on multi-channel, omnichannel versus single channel. And the average order value is 13% higher on omni versus single channel. Customer retention rates, of course, also higher on omnichannel versus single channel. So this is from a 2019 Omnisend annual report, but it just frames up kind of the need to understand that single channel isn't good enough, multi-channel is the next step up, but truly omnichannel is the end game. A few more omnichannel statistics for your enjoyment. 90% of consumers start a task on one device, then finish it on another. So a vast majority of us will start on a laptop, move to a mobile device, start on a desktop, move to a television, whatever it is. So you can see that multi-channel is agreed upon to be critical for an organization, and almost half have IT or somewhere else to go to make sure the content is properly formatted on the web. About the same amount are unable to react to new channels or devices due to largely technology limitations, and 46% suffer from delivering poor customer experiences that cause abandonment. And that's obviously a British survey because of how they spell organizations, in case you didn't notice. Another statistic, 64% of consumers are willing to pay more for a simplified experience. So what may be more complex to us, done right, is far simpler to the end user. So why do I have to log into the website if I can? You can communicate to me via SMS. If text messaging is my preferred channel, then why not focus on that channel? So that's a really important component to consider. So you can see from eMarketer, there's some research from 2019, but still relevant. US companies are, the shift has been in the last year and a half since this was done, that only a few channels were connected. The vast majority were saying that. That's probably now under 50%, and probably more growth, around 20% or half channels are connected. That'd be my best guess. And then this is UK research, and nearly 2 years ago. But brands and consumers in North America and UK feel like an individual when a brand sends me special offers only available to me. We have the data to do that. The question is, can we get those unique messages out on an individual basis? And then I think this is big with BOPUS, buy online, pick up in store being a new trend through COVID, particularly. There's massive growth there. Is that customers want to make sure that you understand as a brand that they're the same person, whether they're in store, on their device, out in the parking lot, etc. So any tools that can expedite that are really important. And obviously, I think one of the secret sauce components of a good omnichannel campaign is that customers can control the experience, how, when, and why a brand interacts with them, not just us forcing down an email down their throat, X number of opportunities or monthly frequency or whatever it is. They say, I want not monthly, but weekly emails. I want texts on demand when certain things, activities are triggered, status updates in my app, whatever those things are. You want to give the customer as many options as possible to proactively want to receive that message, because the response rates, engagement rates, conversions will be much higher. There are some challenges, obviously, with omnichannel. The biggest one is not technology, it's analog. It is brands understanding their customer's journey, their various personas or various customer segments, and how they move on and offline, and to various devices, websites, and tools that you might provide. So you might have a physical website, you might have software, you might have a mobile app, you might have a retail environment. But understanding how a customer interacts is really important. So doing that primary research on customer journey is critical before you even map out an omnichannel program. Selecting the channels can be informed by customer research, prospect research. What channels do they like? What do they prefer? From there, you make the technology decision. I've found from my experience with brands over the last 25 years in marketing is that technology drives the decision making, not the consumer need or the internal needs. So somebody sells you a really cool omnichannel platform, you have to learn their platform on their terms. It may have little or nothing to do with what your customer really wants or needs. It's best practice across a variety of industries instead of your unique industry. So make sure that as you evaluate technology, that it's relevant to your industry, your product, your brand as best as possible. It can be very expensive to build your own solution, prohibitively so. So just be very careful. Measurement is still a challenge, right? So we see charts and graphs like the one on the right here, budget constraints, legacy systems, integration. There can be cost, lack of resources, lack of expertise. These are all common issues. But at the end of the day, let's say you still implement, there's still measurement issues and attribution challenges. So if somebody, on average, the average prospect touches you 5 times, interacts with your brand 5 times before buying, in B2B, that's over a dozen times typically. What was the most important touch point that led to that sale? And are you equally spreading out the love across the different touch points? Is it most recent? Is it a recency model? Or is it first and last touch, or diminishing? Or is there a channel that's always more valuable? For B2B, it might be a webinar or a demo. For consumer, it might be some other component of the website or retail experience. So these are all challenges. Some of it are strategic in nature, but a lot of it is the technology being able to provide that data and track it logically. So there are some stakeholders you have to consider when you're building an omnichannel program. There's the product or service managers. Whatever product or service you're selling, the people that own that product need to be bought in on omnichannel, so they can ideally build hooks into the product or service. Obviously, marketing is playing a key role in making sure that this whole omnichannel product process works. But don't forget sales. The sales team has great insights on touch points and language, customer service, on key pain points, and also more on language. And then if you have customer success or relationship managers that own relationships, they obviously, if it's not just about problems from customer service or support, but it's more customer success, a proactive relationship, then they should have really good idea of what matters for that customer on the B2B side. And then obviously there's the IT team, interactive web development team needs to be a part of this for implementation, integration, and tracking. And then the executive suite, the C-suite, they also need to understand what's going on and buy in at all levels. They can help diminish or alleviate barriers and speed bumps. There are a variety of technologies to keep in mind that have to be stitched together most often for the best solution for your industry or your specific need. So there's sales and marketing automation platforms. We also might include an email platform. So those might include, Salesforce and MailChimp and others, Eloqua, et cetera. And then there's the customer relationship management platforms, whether that's, again, it could be like a Microsoft platform or equivalent. Once, it's typically best used when you have customers versus sales and automation is to get them into the customer flow. You might have a system to manage content on your website, AKA a CMS. You may or may not have adopted any Bluetooth or near-field communication platforms or technologies, geofencing or beacons for retail. You might have AI or augmented reality. There might be a chat or knowledge-based component, loyalty programs. So anytime you can generate a unique customer ID, like a loyalty program or membership program, that's ideal for an omnichannel program. There are mobile apps that help really understand the end user, and then any point of sale systems. So some of the most common omnichannel platforms are the bigger players in the space are on the right: Redpoint, Instapage, eMarcis, Iterable, Blueshift, Zendesk. Those are just a few. It's going to get yourself going on the research journey if you are new to omnichannel. So adding a little more definition. So typically associated with retail, right? So most of the research, most of the data that I'm sharing is all about retail experience. So think of the Best Buys and the Home Depots of the world. It's really that's where that's where a lot of the technology is focused. So the customer journey is all about being seamless, integrated, consistent, again, regardless of channel or device. So a common path, most consumers start on a smartphone and move to a PC or laptop. Small amount go to tablets or iPads. 25% might start on a laptop or a PC and then move to a smartphone device, less commonly a tablet. And 11% will start on the tablet and finish elsewhere. So tablets are still a play. iPads are still being sold. Samsung has a broad offering of tablets. So there's still a thing, and there's Amazon products as well. But mostly you start on your mobile and then move to a bigger device for more complex sales versus the other way around, which is only a third or half as often. You start with a laptop and move to mobile to finish the deal. So that's kind of the definition of the journey. Now, the other thing to consider is marketing automation software is mostly what powers omnichannel marketing. And, Frost and Sullivan is saying that, at the core is most of the channel growth is through the MAS platforms. It goes to, according to Frost and Sullivan. So a lot of the channels that are managed within marketing automation typically has been just email. The more robust platforms are expanding into website and social media, content and SEO. There are a lot of different platforms. So because of, if not in spite of, but because of COVID, The marketing automation is a top investment priority was for this year and will continue to be into next year. A lot of the investment has been done. A lot of implementation will be done next year in 2021. So it's critical to understand that journey and what tools need to be implemented to address each of these touch points: print, online, offline, broadcast, you name it. So let's talk about some of those key components. Any omnichannel campaign worth its weight is going to be seamless. So meaning to the end user, they don't notice a difference. That the message, the carrying over, hey, it's good to see you again, whether it's an SMS message, an email, a website interaction, an in-app interaction, or a store interaction, it should be, we know who you are, we know what you need. So the Minority Report movie, Tom Cruise looks at an ad for Guinness and does a retinal scan and personalize the ads. We're getting there. So they should be integrated as well, cross-platform, consistent. So I'm not hearing wildly different messages or seeing different messages across platforms that seem inconsistent or confusing. The frictionless part. So give them the message on the device of their preference or choice. Should be intentional or engineered. The more engineered it is, the more seamless it should seem, not the other way around. Context is everything. So not just what device they're on, but where are they, when are they doing this, and what is the intent? So when I'm consuming early morning or late at night in bed, laying down with my phone, it's a different type of experience than if I'm sitting upright on my laptop or desktop versus in store. But mostly a great omnichannel program will have empathy. Seth Godin's book, This is Marketing, one of his more recent books, is really important to understand that empathy element. All his books are great, but that's a good timely reminder. Some of the best practices for omnichannel. If you really want to understand the pros, the professionals, that is, brands that really get omnichannel and doing it well, look at, you can Google these case studies on Disney, B of A, Virgin Atlantic, which is now Alaska Airlines, REI, Starbucks, and Walgreens. Disney, I can tell you they nail it, but there's still work to do. Having been to Disney World a couple of years ago, you're waiting in line and they customize the posters based on your RFID. So it might include a photo of you in the posters interacting while you're in line for a ride. Yet at the same time, and your band was everything. It's your identity, it's your food, it's everything you need. Yet they still did very little pre and post marketing to us via email. They didn't really use text, although we may not have signed up. But my point is, even the best of the best, there's always room for improvement. So successful omnichannel brands are doing what with their omnichannel? So brands doing it well. So they're a majority, 60% are utilizing digital advertising. So online, mobile, social. 56% are incorporating their corporate website. I would think it would be higher than that. Mobile, just over 50%, or almost as much as the website. That makes a ton of sense because mobile devices are basically fingerprints. They're totally unique to you. Websites with moving towards a cookieless world will make that more challenging, increasing the importance of a mobile device in the omnichannel experience. Also, so many people use them for so many things. Social media, email, local in-store engagement, live events, which are now more virtual in nature thanks to COVID, but by probably September next year, they'll start to come back. As scary as that sounds for folks in the hospitality and event business. There's also TV, digital video, over-the-top streaming, radio, et cetera. All of those should have consistent messages with calls to action that direct people back to relevant channels that work for them. So the customer journey, one insight is where I would say to start is walk a mile in your customer's shoes, your prospect's shoes, different shoes for different times, right? So you have different types of customers. You should run different scenarios for different segments, or different scenarios for even the same segment, but there are maybe 2 to 3 different common ways people first engage with your brand or find you through referral versus marketing versus events, and then they'll have a different journey. So each of those should be mapped out to understand where are the consistencies, where's the friction to be broken down. So look at those milestones, break down the roadblocks, and identify any opportunity to reduce the friction. Mainly, it's thinking through the messaging in advance for each platform and each context for each segment. Takes a bit of thought, and you can start simple and then over time iterate and refine your messaging contextually by device and by time or need or intent. And so that it turns more into a high engaging conversation done right. Best practice also is to measure. Again, this is one of the biggest challenges with omnichannel is measurement. So track all your data along the journey from emails to phone calls, create a repository for all your channels, analyze the data, look for trends, look for any other insights you can glean, circle back with your sales, marketing, customer service teams for new insights. Always be testing. So testing on the ad side, if you're driving leads through Google, test keywords, test targeting, landing pages. If you're using Facebook, Instagram for more consumer-based targeting, always review your demographic, psychographic data. Your ad creative needs to refresh regularly. Always be testing one element against another. So there are certain lines between online and offline, for instance. So at the start, 51% of research online leads to an in-store visit or purchase. 40% of online shoppers buy products online. 17% visit a store first. 32% research online, visit the store to view the product, then purchase back online. So there's the showroomers that, the concept of the old days, you'd look at it online, then see it in person. Then it flipped to look at it in person, buy online, and now it's a hybrid of online to offline to online, offline to online to offline, and you have to attribute and consider all of that in your measurement. Segmentation. So if you don't have personas, you should develop them. There's an example here, Dan Jensen, a make-believe persona. So you've got the demographics, age, gender, location, occupation. You've got the psychographics, what's going on in their day, what their personality traits are, to help you refine your messaging to make sure it really resonates. From experience, again, if you only have one or two core products or in your one industry, I honestly recommend a sweet spot is 3 to 6 personas. The brands I've worked with that have more, you basically end up with analysis paralysis. You have too much information, too many inputs, too many ways to infinitely slice the data from a manual perspective. The goal is to let the machines do that theoretically with intelligence, AI type of knowledge. And then just even having 3 or 4 is a good reminder for the marketing team and sales team that messages are different for each audience. So older folks might be on Facebook, younger might be on Snapchat. Older might be looking for news, younger might be looking for entertainment. You have to keep that in mind framework-wise as you develop your journey. So once you've developed the segments and the personas, you create that content, and then you create the context for just the simplified initial intro messaging, whether it's a subject line or a teaser status update or ad copy. But each segment has a different journey, and each journey may vary slightly. So keep that in mind. And when you're creating content, it needs to be compelling. It needs to be consistent. Empathy is the new normal with COVID. Brands are looking to be more human because consumers are asking for more human companies, not only that are more human in the way they approach their marketing, but also their product development, more environmentally sustainable or sensitive. Is the brand a steward of the environment, or are they into the destruction? Right? Brands that are not woke about environmental, social, racial issues are going to be penalized, and those that are knee deep in it, like a Patagonia type of brand, REI, those type of brands are embracing it and they're getting ahead, basically. So tap all 5 senses as much as you can in each of the channels, and each touch point should be measurable yet seamless to the end user. It's really important to think about. So best practices, the most important thing is to absolutely listen. So monitor feedback across all the channels and ideally filter by segment to understand, like, one piece of feedback from one customer may not apply to other customers. In fact, it may be the antithesis of how other core customers feel or think. Learn from the data and the insights and the conversations and act on them. Always be testing and refining and improving. Focus on the channels and touch points that work, right? You keep doubling down on channels until you get diminishing returns. Combine stated preferences and behaviors and goals for maximum efficiency. So you can see on the AIDA funnel, awareness, interest, intent, action. The idea is that different channels are better for different journeys, different ad creative may resonate with different segments, uh, time of day of week of month of year. Those all matter. There's seasonality to many different industries and brands and products. So keeping that all in mind. So I've been in the world of search, and I've been decent at awareness, but I'm really good at consideration and conversion versus the top end video, broadcast, TV, radio, outdoor. It's really great at awareness, very bad at conversion, right? Hence understanding each of these steps of the process. So once you've listened and you've put something out there, then you can expand. So as you refine and feel like you're optimizing each channel, then you can go out and try new channels. So thinking outside the marketing box might include trying, expanding your social into Snapchat, WhatsApp, or TikTok. It might include ads on third-party platforms or expanding your ad testing into new keywords or audiences or demographics. You might try sponsoring a podcast and see where that gets. But back it ideally, come up with ideas, try to validate with research, but most definitely test because, market research can be wrong. For instance, Nike doesn't run any of their advertising through focus groups. At least that's what they publicly say. And I believe that to be true. The Just Do It campaign with Colin Kaepernick a couple of years ago would never have gotten through a focus group, but it was true to their brand and it made a huge roar in the industry. They got billions of dollars in free PR, mostly good PR. They fired their worst customers, basically. So be wary of market research. Follow your gut, give it a test, validate it. But you can always run it by customer service, sales, merchandising teams if you're in the retail side. But success is holistic, requires a lot of communication collaboration. So set up regular meetings and check-ins, utilize platforms like Slack or Basecamp to keep the communication flow going. So some key takeaways. Understand your customer journey, select the proper technology platforms, segment your audiences, create that seamless friction experience to the customer from the customer perspective, outward facing. Internally, it might be bumpy, especially for a while as you get used to it. Measure twice, cut once, right? So it's better to do more testing and evaluation, but iterate quickly at the same time. But you don't want to, if you make a mistake, improve on it. Don't continue to make the same mistakes. And context absolutely matters more in omnichannel than any other channel. Is the when, why, and how of the message. Is it getting through the right channel at the right time? So during the day, you should hit me on my laptop through my email. I don't check texts or answer my phone most of the time during the day because I'm in meetings. And so some people complain like, why didn't you get my text? I'm like, I don't look at my phone during the day because I'm on calls and meetings and on my computer all day. And the weekend, I'm not going to be on my computer unless I have to be. I'm going to be on my phone. So all of that context matters if I'm an end user, right, in that process. So we have a few resources here. I've got an article, for instance, on, a podcast on omnichannel marketing, talking through an interactive discussion on omnichannel. I have done a presentation for senior living conferences, including an interview and an article on omnichannel that has other resources and insights, which are great. There's some statistics, examples of brands that are doing well, a bunch of different resources for you. Some of these are 19, some, a lot of this is from 2019, but most of it hasn't changed through 2020. And, we'll probably update this again in 2021. So now I'm going to move to any questions that you might have, and then we'll wrap it up. And I just want to remind you now, you can access a bunch of great information, blog posts, articles, white papers, archived webinars, and more on our website, anvilmediainc.com. We have an insights section where we'll have a link to this webinar from both on our YouTube channel and on our SlideShare channel. You can sign up for our monthly newsletter on our website, follow us on social media, and I'm not sure what happened right there. Reach out with any questions about omnichannel. So I want to be respectful of time, so I will do one quick question unless there are others, the question is, how should I get started with omnichannel? Where do I really start? And so, I will just refer back to my earlier in my presentation, and that is really to start with the customer journey, right? Don't worry about the technology yet. Start with the journey. You can always understand. You can always do research and talk to your customers today and your constituents internally. Understand, walk that mile, and that should be the major focus. And you can literally map out with post-it notes or digitally in Excel, Word, or other planning software, the major milestones and roadblocks to reduce friction. So, for example, when we ran a customer journey on Anvil Media, one thing we realized is we're really good at digital, but our analog wasn't as strong. So when you walk into Anvil's headquarters pre-COVID, you didn't know who to talk to because we don't have a receptionist at our desk. You have to know to walk into the office a little bit farther to run into somebody when they can say hi to you. And so we put a little welcome sign up front saying, welcome, please, take 5 steps forward and somebody will greet you. And it turned a liability into an asset, especially when we had clients coming over. We draw their logo and say, welcome, come on in. And it was that touch. They would take pictures of it. So if we hadn't done that customer journey analysis of ourselves, we wouldn't have known that. And then obviously it's really important to do the segmentation. So building out the personas, then you can move into the software and other elements. So with that said, I want to be respectful of time, so I will move on from this and say thank you so much for your time. I've appreciated all of you attending and getting to learn more about omnichannel marketing. Stay tuned for our webinar next month in January. We have other webinars, and our whole calendar is at Anvil on our website, and you can absolutely check it out. In fact, I will just go here real quick and show you, because I think it's worth doing, is to see, let's go here, and let's go here. So you go to our website, go to Insights and Webinars, and then you can see the December program is how to build a winning omnichannel program. Our January program will be 2021 trends in marketing. February will be content marketing strategies, and then the rest are there. So come back again soon. Thank you so much for your time, and we will hope to see you next year. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.